NoSo Connection Podcast Network YouTube video spectacular special. JT and Ryan back at it. Got another tier list today, Ryan.
Let's I feel like royalty, buddy.
Yeah, you're always royalty. You're my tiny little king, my friend. The problem, though, is we had booked this. We had booked this idea when we thought there was going to be a 2023 King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring tournament, but we got hosed on that, didn't we?
Yeah, we played ourselves with that one, really. But
Yeah.
we can still roll with it. It's almost June, right?
Why not? King of the Rings are always fun to talk about. So we are doing a tier list today. If you like this concept in our other videos, Ryan and I have a bunch of stuff, but we also have a lot of long form things as well here in NoSo Connection. So if you subscribe today, you get all kinds of evergreen content. We review the Monday Night Wars. We do podcasts on ECW. We have a bunch of current day wrestling podcasts, statistical type shows, ranking list shows, drafts. We do everything here at NoSo Connection. So if you like this, just subscribe. You'll get tons of content just like this pretty much every day.
For sure.
All right. So we decided to do a tier list about King of the Ring, and we decided to rank all the kings. And we thought things through, Ryan, about what is the best way to do this. And I think there's a couple ways to go, right? Like one is okay, just rank them as kings, right? But I think that was kind of lame because you kind of know off the top of your head. All right, Brett's the best. Owen is great, and then after that, all right. Let's like, how do you even rank them? So we
Yeah.
actually thought about doing it a different way, and that is looking at the field of each year and ranking these as choices to become king, right? So in 1993, Bret Hart was chosen to win the King of the Ring. Was that an S tier choice? Was that an F choice? Were there better options in that tournament that could have been chosen? So that's the way we're going to look at these. And we're going to do all of them, including the original non pay per view tournaments in the 80s. And I think this tier list we found goes through 2019. Were there any after that? When was Xavier Woods? Was that after that?
Yeah, that was last year.
Okay.
It was Queen Zelina and Xavier Woods was 2022.
Okay. Were there any other ones we're going to not have as part of this?
No, I believe the last one before that was Corbin.
Okay. All right. So we should be good then because I think he's in here, right?
Yeah, and then you have like Barrett and Sheamus randomly in between.
Right. Yeah. I see Corbin. He's in there. All right. So the first one was in 1985, and Don Morocco won that one in Foxborough, defeated the Iron Sheik in the finals. So we have the picture of Morocco here. We do. All right. So in 1985, Morocco would have still been a heel. He hadn't turned face yet. He was kind of off the IC title picture, and I think kind of a little aimless. Like he hadn't quite gotten into the Piper stuff yet
Yeah.
when this occurred.
I believe he's coming off the Hogan trilogy at MSG, correct?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because this is July of '85, so he's really
Yeah.
right off of that, which is a great trilogy. Those matches are awesome. So here's the field. You let me know. There's Don Morocco, Junkyard Dog, who was still pretty hot in '85. This is right before the Classic. Les Thornton, Steve Lombardi, Paul Orndorff, Bob Orton Jr., Pedro Morales, Johnny V, Tito Santana, Terry Funk, Jim Brunzell, The Spoiler, Ricky Steamboat, Greg Valentine, Iron Sheik, and B. Brian Blair. So I'm going to throw a few names at you. You tell me if they were debatable to be a choice of Morocco, okay? I would
Sure.
say Junkyard Dog is in the conversation.
Sure.
Paul
He was a
Orndorff is
babyface.
in the conversation.
He's a babyface. Both two baby faces right there.
Tito Santana is in the conversation.
Babyface. Yep.
Terry Funk is in the conversation.
He's the name I thought of before you read him off.
Okay. Ricky Steamboat, still kind of new, maybe
Yeah,
too
but he's
soon.
kind of a blah. He's too
Yeah.
blah to be a king.
Greg Valentine, probably a little
I could
past.
see that. I could still
Okay.
see it though. I could still see it. But he's
Yeah.
got the dream team cooking, so it doesn't really fit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say, realistically, I think JYD's a good one in the mix. I mean, he's about to go to King of the Ring and make the finals, right?
He could
So
play
he
it up.
could play
Yeah.
up as he's tournament tested there if he wins this. Tito about to win back his IC belt if he hadn't yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. So yeah, I like. I think Funk,
I like Funk. I like.
Funk and
I don't think.
JYD.
I think Morocco's the right choice, but I think Funk would have been the
Do you
best
though?
next option.
I think Funk's a better choice because Funk's about to start the Hogan stuff coming up later in the year. But honestly, I think JYD would have been the guy here.
So
He
those are our
loses in the first
three.
round to Morocco.
Yeah, but it's like it's a historically it's a heel gimmick, so you think heel when you
But
get
it's
it.
not
So
really a gimmick though. I think if we look at the '80s ones, right? Like Morocco doesn't stay king. Um, it's just like a house show in Foxborough. Like I don't know if they even talk about this shit like on
it's not even
TV.
televised.
Yeah.
Well, they do talk about it in the TVs leading up, but I don't know if it's because I'm watching Boston TVs
Right. Local
a
stuff. Yeah.
as I watch it. But I don't know, like, I think if coming off the trilogy and they still wanna be in Don Morocco's season, they can give them the reason I think that's a good fit is because
Right.
they give him the king to kinda keep him rolling and get some shine off the Hogan losses. But I personally would go Funk, and if you wanna go JYD, I don't think it's the wrong pick. Morocco's just 3rd out of the 3.
So I think that makes him a B tier choice.
Yeah, we might adjust them as we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just like the JYD one because you can play it up leading into the Wrestling Classic if they do talk about it. You could say,
Yeah.
oh, he just won the King of the Ring in Foxborough. This guy's heading in with a head of steam to the Classic, and kind of play that up.
Mhm.
All right. Next up,
Santana?
yeah, I think it's Tito.
Or does Bret Hart
Um,
win it twice?
nope, it's actually Harley Race.
Oh.
Harley defeats Pedro Morales in the finals here, so there he is down here, the king. Here's the other guys in the tournament. We have Billy Jack Haynes, the Iron Sheik, Harley Race, George Animal Steel, Morocco, Piper, Nikolai Volkov, Dan Spivey, Junkyard Dog again, Paul Orndorff, Pedro Morales, and Rudy Diamond, who was the substitute for
Ooh,
Cowboy Bob.
ooh, ooh. Ah,
Uh,
Spivey. Oh, that's interesting.
and then
But I
Hercules looks like he was gonna get a bye, I guess. And Rotundo got a bye as well. Hercules ended up getting subbed out for Mr. X, who loses to Billy Jack Haynes in a minute.
really
Um,
sure Keynes is your
he
boy
makes
with
the
the
semis, so the finals is Harley and Pedro. Uh, I think Harley's up there. I think he's the choice. I mean, he ends up running with the gimmick for a few years. It's a great
the
gimmick. It's a good
nostalgia,
fit.
yeah.
He's the
I'd go
king
8.
of wrestling.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know who else. I mean, Funk is. He's not even this.
he's not
Piper.
even in this. He's gone. I
Piper's
would he
heading toward his break right at this point.
yeah, Funk's horse was sick. I don't know, the name that
So this
like,
is July '86. So Piper's almost off TV at this point, right?
yeah,
Like when does he
like
get? When do they beat
Billy
the shit
Jack
out of him?
Billy Jack Haynes work, but he's like they
He's not
couldn't
better than
find anyone to
Harley.
fit they couldn't find an apron to fit those traps. I think
Definitely not.
I think Harley is the pick for sure, and I think it's an A tier.
Yeah.
Might be an S tier.
If it's Billy Jack, do they do the Oregon Ducks color robe?
Match the trunks, right?
Yeah. Orndorff, had he turned yet? July '86? Yeah, he had, right?
Yeah, because well, he's a backup for Hulk at 3, so I don't know if he turned yet.
Well, when's big event is August, right?
Yeah, I don't recall. You know who would know? Steve Bennett would know. Let's call it a friend. He probably watched last week. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
I'm looking quick here to see when he if it has a date when he turned. I don't know. I know the big event was in August. I'm pretty confident.
86.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's got to be close around here. I think Harley's the guy. I'm with you. I think it's Harley. I think it's let's go A tier for now because he does end up keeping it for years. It's effective.
It's
It really
nostalgic
makes
and
him stand
memorable
out.
too.
I know some folks sort of looked at it as like a goofy, like oh they put Harley Race in a gimmick, but they really play it up. He's the king of wrestling. He's a legend.
Yeah, he outswung the King of the Ring. He made it
Yeah.
King of Wrestling. He
All right,
was big
87. Yeah, good.
he made King of the Ring in a way,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. I think he's the only one of these early ones too that actually made it a gimmick and kept it. All right, 87 is the guy that's on our shirts. That is the Macho Man Randy Savage, won the first one in Providence. Here's the field. So this is September 87 now. So we got Haku, Brutus Beefcake, Rick Martel, Danny Spivey, King Kong Bundy, One Man Gang, Special Delivery Jones, Sika, Tito Santana, Danny Davis, Junkyard Dog, Tama, Jim Brunzell, Ron Bass, Randy Savage, Nikolai Volkov. I mean, I don't see anyone even in the realm in this tournament.
No. You know who would be
Bundy
a
in the
fun one?
finals.
It would be Danny Davis would be a fun one, but he has 0 credibility to win 4 matches or whatever. But I could see
We're
him
kind of near
working.
the end of his like peak too now because we're
Yeah.
in fall of '87. He's almost
If
in
this was like at the
job boy
beginning of his run.
territory at this point.
Yeah.
Savage, this is right at the face turn, September. I mean, this is like the mega powers are about to form and really take off. So, yeah, I think he's at A.
Yep.
I don't go higher yet because he doesn't keep the crown off of this, but Let's go A for now. Him and Harley feel similar.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't use this to become the king. He's a great king of wrestling, but all right, let's go to 88. This one is in Providence as well, excuse me. Now we're in October of 88. Ted DiBiase defeats the Macho Man to win, so prevents back-to-backs. Here's the field. Ken Patera, Nikolai Volkov, Beefcake, DiBiase, Barbarian, Bass, Danny Davis, Shawn Michaels, Bad News Brown, Hercules, Randy Savage, Virgil, Marty Jannetty, the Red Rooster, Mike Sharp, and Brutus Beef, and Boris Zukov. Again, I mean, I think
Listen,
DiBiase is a good choice.
if we were doing Sporkle, I wouldn't even pick DiBiase to be king.
No, I know, right? So he wins
He
this. It's at the end, pretty much the end of the Mega Bucks, Mega Powers feud. He's about to transition off of it. 89 is kind of a down year for him. But it's almost like a kind of a thank you. Like he gets a little win over Savage after Savage pretty much beat him all year. I don't think you go back to back. I mean, Savage is a world champion at this point. So unless you want to like say, oh, the world champion's the best, I guess. But I mean, DiBiase wins by count out too in the finals.
C, maybe even D.
Well, I mean, it's not how it happened, right? We're saying the choice going in.
Yeah,
I don't really see anyone else in this besides Savage. I think those are the only two guys. Unless you want to give it strap up a young dude like a Michaels or a Jannetty, I guess, as a rocker.
Eliminate the big guys early and then have it be like
Beefcake. Beefcake heading into 89.
How new is Barbarian into the territory?
They had just come in over the summer, so I don't think they're there yet. Warlord was hurt, so that's why Mike Sharp is in there. Bad News. Bad News is pretty hot in 88. He's about to be starting the feud with Savage in the winter. Could have been cool. Maybe he wins by kind of like DiBiase is weird because the feud's over. So it's like I think Bad News maybe like you're launching into the title feud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What does it really do for DiBiase? I didn't even
nothing
recall him being a king.
All right, let's go C for him.
Yes.
For now. All right. So let's go to 89. Still in Providence, October 14th. Tito Santana wins this one over Rick Martel. Here's the field. Brutus Beefcake, Akeem, Hercules, Jim Neidhart, Butch, the Warlord, Tito Santana, Bad News Brown, Rick Martel, Bill Woods, where the fuck that is, Bushwhacker Luke, Nikolai Volkov, Jimmy Snuka, the Barbarian, Haku, and the Red Rooster. So you can tell the fields are definitely getting a little thinner here toward the end of the 80s. They definitely weren't as much focus on this.
Bill Woods, he related to Tim Woods?
I don't know. The only other non-tournament match was Dusty Rhodes and Boss Man. Was the main event of the card. Of course,
Dusty would have been great, King.
Their big feud. Yeah, I mean that's a choice. Yeah, you know what? Those other ones too. We're only looking at guys in the tournament. We weren't even thinking like who else around in '88 could have maybe been a good fit. Like Boss Man in '88 could have been a good one, kind of ramping up as well. Tito, this feels maybe? Like who?
Akeem, maybe.
Well, right now, this is end of '89. Akeem's kind of on the way out. Tito feels like a lifetime achievement award here.
I was just gonna say that it was an attaboy. Nothing wrong with that.
I think Martel beating him would have made more sense because this is kind of right as Martel just turned heel.
Oh, can you imagine him as the king? Look how good he was as the model.
Yeah,
but he doesn't necessarily need it. So
yeah, I think I would have went him over Tito, but I don't see anyone else that jumps out in the tournament. Like I said, late '89. I mean, this is when Duggan is king, right? Like Savage beats him right around here. So I mean, Duggan could have won this to reestablish himself as king, or Savage wins this to become king. Maybe he beats Duggan in the finals and wins the crown.
King Haku is what, 89?
Yep. Well, yeah, he would have just lost it to Duggan in May.
Yeah. Get it back to him. That worked.
I'm gonna give Tito a C. I just think they got other guys around in the company that.
And plus, it's an achievement award, the same vibe as DiBiase.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you've been great. Here you go.
All right, we jump ahead. There's none in 90. We go to 91. It's the last house show one, September 91 in Providence. Bret Hart defeats IRS. We got Hawk, Jerry Sags, Steamboat, DiBiase went to a 50-minute draw. Duggan, Knobs, Berserker, IRS, Pete Doherty, Bret Hart, Skinner, Virgil, Sid Justice, the Warlord, Animal, and the Undertaker. So this is a pretty good field. Taker and Sid got both DQ'd in the second round.
The Duchess from Dorchester, Pete Doherty. Come on, Dorchester.
He's in there for Texas Tornado. Well, I'm guessing was probably maybe on his way to rehab, sadly, at that point. But
Yeah, the Duchess would have worked. That would have been a great F tier. But
I think Brett's the choice. I mean, you could say maybe Sid
how
dominates and crushes everyone.
and how long ago is this after WrestleMania 7?
About 6 months, 5 months.
All right, so it's right in between. So he's the IC champ.
Yeah, he had just won the belt like a few weeks before.
Okay.
I
I
think I
didn't know.
think piling up accolades made sense for him.
Yep.
And he's gonna be our next one in '93, so we can just hit both of them.
I would put this
I
one
think
below.
yeah, I think '91. You want to put is it A?
Yeah, and then 93, boom, S tier.
Yeah, there's no doubt
Solidify.
about that. I think the only other guy, I mean, Ramon wasn't quite there yet in '93. I think at that point he's about to break out really with the as a face. He was a interesting possibility. I think Mr. Perfect is in the mix.
Do you
Bigelow I think could have been an interesting choice as well.
do you think he really farted in Bigelow's face on the sunset roll up?
I believe it.
I believe it too.
I always thought I could do a good fart. How about I mean Luger is also like narcissist, could have kept his undefeated streak and
Okay,
taken
yeah.
the crown.
You also have Lawler hanging around who attacks
Mm,
him. Would have been a good one, but I think it was the best thing to do. This is the one time where the lifetime achievement worked. You know what I
right.
mean?
It's a
Coming
makeup for
up.
losing the title. Yeah.
Yeah, we booked you like a fucking asshole. We're gonna set you with Lawler. You can whatever. You know what
Yeah,
I
fight
mean?
over who the real king of wrestling is. And this also legitimized Brett while he's not world champion as probably the best wrestler in the company by doing this, winning the three
Yeah, in the
matches.
ring, bell to bell,
Yeah.
boom.
All right. Let's go A there. I think our next one's probably an A as well. 1994 as a
King of
choice. I
Hearts.
mean, it makes Owen Hart's career. The win over Brett was huge, but it's really the King gimmick that separates him and allows him to rub it in Brett's face. He's trying to match what Brett did the year before. I'm gonna, beat that. Sets him up for SummerSlam to get the title match, and he runs that King gimmick into the ground
The
in a good
crown's
way.
so big, and yeah.
I mean, Razor. If you want to go with the Tito, like kind of top face at that point,
Yeah, he's the IC
slash
champ.
lifetime achievement, like Brett in '91. I don't know, maybe like that. Tatanka is in there, but he was kind of struggling at that point.
But yeah,
Jarrett.
Jared's kind of fun, but they made the right choice. And even if you want to go
Yeah.
S, I'm not mad at you. Just
Yeah, I
because
think it's an S tier. I think, I mean, just given the length of the gimmick.
how he used that to propel him and solidify him to main events.
Yep. Yep. Where's
He's 3 right there.
All right. 95. King Mabel. um, I guess where you have to land on this is if you think the Mabel experiment was worth a shot to establish him as a top heel for Diesel. Because if you do, then he was the choice to win this tournament, if that's the way you want to go.
They book little booking backwards kind of thing.
You
Like
got
they book
Undertaker.
SummerSlam, and how do we make it happen? Let's give him King of the
Right,
Ring.
right. How do we legitimize him, right? Well, he beats Taker,
Yeah.
and then wins the King of the Ring. You got Taker, you got Kama, you got Shawn, you got Holly, Rhodey, Yoko, Vega. Ramon was hurt. You got Owen. Could he have run it back? You got Bigelow coming off job in LT. Maybe you give it to him.
Yeah. He wasn't in favor though. The Click wouldn't allow that.
I think Shawn is the choice. I mean, I thought at the time it was obvious. Comes off losing to Diesel, gets back in the ring, wins King of the
Yeah,
Ring.
but do they they still want to stay in Diesel season, right? They don't want him losing again.
Well, it kind of is like a Brett thing, like
Yeah.
in '93. Like it's similar to that to me. Like he's coming off losing to Mania, kind of reigniting him, proving he's like the best.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the title shot, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that wasn't an official thing, so
That
he didn't
wasn't
have
an
to do
official
that.
thing. They
Yeah.
used it as a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
I think
C.
Mabel's a C. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
he's a D because
Oh, it's memorable. It's definitely
yeah,
memorable.
and they made something of it.
Yeah.
Like it didn't just
The later 90s will get some Ds, but like that
right.
probably the peak of where he was at besides humping Matt Hardy in the Royal Rumble or whatever.
All right, I think 96 is obviously a layup. Austin, absolute
Yeah.
right choice. I mean, you could have argued maybe Vader could have used it to set him up for SummerSlam, but I think he was legitimate enough that he didn't really need it. I think Austin needed something to get the ringmaster DiBiase stink off of him, and this like completely changes trajectory. Starts like the greatest catchphrase and push of all time. So it's hard to go against this as a choice.
Top tier S. Yeah, S plus really. Not much. You don't have to say much about it. But it's really happenstance of the next winner should have won it. But
yes. Yep.
so but how would you rank him coming here? he finally gets his moment and starts propelling him up the card. Where would you put
Yeah, I
Patrick?
think I think he's the choice. I mean, the mid card is a little shaky in '97. Like you had Goldust putting around, but he's kind of whatever. I think Mick Foley's the only other one as Mankind.
That's
He
who he
just
beats in
kind
the
of turned
finals, right?
face. Yeah. So, but I think he's the lovable loser still at this point, right? As he
Mhm.
starts that face turn. So I don't think he's the choice. Lawler's in the tournament. Ahmed. You can maybe look at Ahmed as a
I
guy.
say, man,
Yeah,
I was you're so sick of him watching those Raws in '97, though. He is on him so goddamn much.
I know.
Oof.
I mean,
Uh,
Farouk is in the title match.
I think he's the right
Michaels is too past this.
Hunter's the right guy. It's just
Yeah.
he's an A. I don't think he's an S.
Bulldog. I don't know. I mean, Shamrock hadn't really started full time just yet.
It make
He was
more
kind of.
sense now before instead of '98.
I don't know. We'll get there, but yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's go A for this one. I think it's.
Oh,
You know.
he's memorable, and it did him right.
I think looking at this, we should move Harley to B
And
and
Morocco to C.
Savage to B. And I think I start to look at it as like A is going to be kind of the choice because it propels a guy.
Hmm.
S to me is like God tier kings, the best king gimmicks that they did. A to me is like, all right, this was like a propelling of. They use this to really jumpstart a guy, or reestablish him. So Brett in '93 was established, but this kind of really legitimized him for his title run in '94, which is like his best run. And Hunter, absolutely, obviously got him going. So Harley and Savage to me are great in the role, but like they didn't really need it.
No, but the only thing I'll say for Savage is he was when he became the Macho King for what 10 months or
Yeah, but that's
whatever it
not from
was.
this though.
I was just gonna say it wasn't from that, but
Yeah,
he's super memorable. So that's
right.
definitely like a low key. I'm just defending the move down
Yeah,
on saying he
right.
was gifted it.
Yeah,
It
if
was
he won the
gifted to
king
him.
from this,
Yeah,
like he'd be S tier probably,
yeah,
but
because
because he's like
he's
an
the
Owen
best
where he
king
just
there
made like a
is.
career out of it.
Yeah,
Um, all right, so let's go
yeah,
to
I'm cool with
98.
that.
I think 98's a good one because the talent level jumps up big time. The tournament itself is huge. It starts on TV. We only get 4 matches in the actual um, pay-per-view, but like here's the field originally starting on TV: Vader, Rock, Triple H, X-Pac, Owen Hart, Too Cold Scorpio, D'Lo Brown, Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock, Kama Mustafa, Mark Henry, Terry Funk, Jeff Jarrett, Farouk, Mark Merrow, and Blackman. I mean, that's a great field because it's kind of like upper mid card to
Yeah,
mid
nice
mid
mix of
card.
guys too.
Yeah. Um,
Blackman would have been kind of fun, but he ain't ready. He's just getting
right.
rocking and rolling. Yeah, Shamrock's the right guy, but the guy that's staring out to you is The Rock. He's the world champ in
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah. I think he's the other one you could say. I think at the time in '98, I thought for sure like Shamrock Severn
Yeah,
was gonna be the final. They're
Severn
playing
is
off the UFC tournament
yeah.
tested Ultimate Fighting champions going at it. I
Yeah,
mean, it
I
seemed like
like
they were marching that way for sure.
I like that Severn pick because you got Cornette hanging around him too, and Cornette
Hmm.
would have just propelled this fucking King
Yeah.
thing to the stratosphere. But it's just Shamrock's just such a shitty king. They don't do
Yeah,
anything.
it doesn't do anything of it,
He
but
doesn't do
I love
anything.
the fact that he's like the king of the tournaments and he wins
Yeah,
the tournament because
yeah,
then he does it again in the fall when he wins the IC tournament. So now
yeah.
they build on it. Like this dude who won the UFC tournament, now he's won the King of the Ring tournament, now he won the IC title tournament. You know what I mean? So like he's like the tournament master of the WWF.
So it's just one of those things. This is where the structure of how we are tiering them comes
Yeah.
into place. Really, it's just like, what is it? What did he do with it versus him
Right.
winning it?
I
So
like
that
it the choice of it because they use that choice to then set him up to win the IC tournament later.
so
Um, but I do think Rock, if you really had to sit there and say it, I think Rock picking up that King of the Ring tournament probably means more in the long run
yeah,
than Shamrock, and he can use it over. Like, not only did I beat you for the IC belt, I
yeah,
also um, won the kingship over you. But that feud's great. Like, it's almost
yeah,
forgotten historically
yeah. It
sometimes. So,
stretched out from the Rumble to
yeah,
really King of the Ring.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking C with B maybe just
I,
because,
I
but
I
then
think
it's
B. I think B.
just because yeah,
He's
the,
better
the
than these
structure of
guys,
him winning it, but him as a king is just so.
right? But again, we're not really factoring in what he did
I
as
know.
king. Yeah,
I'm just
I know. You got to factor it in a little bit. I get it.
yeah, factor a little bit.
All right, let's go to 99.
Ass man.
Yeah, this one is a mess. All right, so we got Billy Gunn, we got Viscera, Ken Shamrock, Jeff Jarrett, Draws, Big Show, Test, Kane, Road Dogg, Godfather, China, Val Venus, Al Snow, Hardcore Holly, Big Boss Man, and X Pac. Now,
I
as
can
a
see
choice, I get Billy Gunn. Like they're setting him up for a push. He's going to fight The Rock.
the X
They're
stink. Yep.
trying to push him as a solo act. Like this made a lot of sense. The way the tournament breaks down, though, I really think they should have had X Pac win. He was way more over him and Kane as a team. They told the story great where X Pac like was getting the shit kicked out of him the whole night, and if he could steal the win, I was surprised they didn't do Billy and. But I think I would have went. It's tough because the rain sucks, but again, we're trying not to factor that in too much.
It's kind of like the Shamrock thing without the success afterwards, or leading in really. It's
Well,
probably
honestly, it's like Mabel. It's very similar to
yeah.
Mabel because
It's not memorable like Mabel.
well, and he loses at SummerSlam and his push is done. He's back in DX in the fall. You know what I mean? Like
Loses
that's
just
it.
his ass match or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 1 month. It's like a 2 month push.
Is
It's
he the
very
same? All
similar.
right, so he's probably C, maybe.
I don't think
It's
he's a
so bad.
D.
It's so bad. It's kind of memorable. The
See,
outcome of
as
it
I'm
all.
looking at this, I think DiBiase and Tito
Yeah,
go down to D.
yes,
Because at the time they were
at
like
least
whatever.
DiBiase because we didn't even know.
Yeah, I think
Morocco
even Tito though,
stays
because that goes
because
nowhere.
the first one.
Yeah, I think Billy's a C. I think
Yeah.
I think you could at least see the argument for him, even though I don't think he was the best choice.
Yep. Fuck, I couldn't even name the 2000 King of the Ring off the top of my head.
Oh come on, it's one of the best. Kurt Angle.
Oh, Kurt Angle. Jeez.
Great
My bad.
King, but the booking of the tournament is a cluster. But here, so this is they did 32 guys. I think they went.
Did they do Superstars Raw, SmackDown?
I think it was just Raw and SmackDown. So it's Angle, Bradshaw, Bubba Ray Dudley, Big Boss Man, Chris Jericho, Test, Edge, Grandmaster Sexay, Crash Holly, Albert, Hardcore Holly, Farouk, Bull Buchanan, Steve Blackman, Perry Saturn, Devon Dudley, Rikishi, Shane McMahon, Scotty 2 Hotty, D'Lo Brown, Chris Benoit, Road Dogg, X-Pac, Dean Malenko, Val Venus, Al Snow, Jeff Hardy, Christian, Eddie Guerrero, Matt Hardy, China, and The Godfather. And by the way, we didn't mention, I think 99 China would have been a better choice than Billy Gunn too.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So this is a huge field. It's a loaded. I would say it's the most loaded King of the Ring they've ever had. Even going into the pay-per-view was in good shape, but they just the pay-per-view just completely falls apart with the way they book it. I think Angle's the right choice.
Yeah. How many matches, King of the Ring matches on the pay-per-view? You mentioned a 32 match card.
8. They go 8 on the pay-per-view.
Okay.
8 guys.
Yeah. So he wins 3.
Yeah,
No,
he beats
4.
Jericho, he beats Crash
yeah,
Holly,
4.
and then he beats Rikishi.
Crash Holly made semifinals?
Yeah, he beat Bull Buchanan. That's what I'm saying. They get all these guys, and that's how they went. It was like stupid. Rikishi beats Benoit in 3 minutes because Benoit gets DQ'd. Like they just didn't. They have this super talent, and they just completely botched the tournament.
I can see Kurt's the right pick just because of the push. He's new, everything, yada yada yada. But like as a gimmick, I can see Rikishi kind of being it.
There's a lot of choices in here. I mean, Rikishi, I think Jericho could have been a guy because after you
Yeah.
got kind of hosed on the world title in April, if you're trying to reestablish him, I think Eddie could have been a lot of fun.
Yep.
If he wins, starting off like him in the China stuff, because Eddie actually beat China on TV in the quarters. You could even win Benoit as like the wrecking machine, going like a Shamrock type guy, just like running through the tournament, dominant run.
I'm good with that. Benoit, Jericho, then Angle as the first pick. I believe Angle should be the right pick. What do you think though?
I
He's
think he's an A.
memorable.
Yeah.
You think he's an A? I was gonna say no less than a B. See, I can't even. That picture doesn't even look like him though. I can see now just because of the red tights.
Yeah, it's debatable to be an S. Let's leave an A for right now. But I depending on who else is out there, I think.
I think he's closer to a B than an S. Just
I don't know. He's such a good choice though. Like in that, if we're going choice wise, if you look at that tier of S, it's like
he's the same level as Triple
all
H.
guys ready to explode. He's world champion in 3 months. Like it's similar to Austin, like trajectory coming off of that. Now you could argue would he have gotten there without it? if you want to
Yeah.
use that as a delineator. Maybe he's more like Brett 93 in a way. I don't know.
More like Brett 91.
All right, let's go to
Edge.
Edge in 01. So here's that tournament. We only get the three matches on pay-per-view, but it's Angle, Hardcore Holly, the Hardys, Christian, Kane, Big Show, Raven, Edge, Test, Blackman, Perry Saturn, Crash Holly, Tajiri, Rhino, and Taz.
Taz or Raven.
I think
No,
Edge
it
is the
was
choice. Actually,
Edge is the choice.
I think they did the right way as far as choices go. Again, it just kind of gets butchered because with a face like him, it's like, what do you really do with the crown? But
I
I
just
don't
feel
think
like they're over it.
they didn't play
They're
it. They ended up just using it as a. I guess in a way it works. But I mean, they end up using it as a pawn in the Christian turn, right?
yeah.
Like Christian loses in the semis, he's kind of jealous. He interfered in the finals. He ends up helping Edge win, but it's questionable if he meant to. I think Angle going back to back would have been cool.
Yeah,
I,
that would have been very cool.
but I also like the booking of it, where Shane helps him win the first round and then costs him the finals to make him wrestle twice before they fight later in the night. Like I thought that was kind of cool, the way
Yeah.
they went about that.
I'd go B. You know, it's like it's better than Ass Man. It's kind of similar to Shamrock, honestly.
Well, there's other guys too. Like you had the WCW guys. So could you have? They're not quite in action yet, but could Shane have gotten one of them into the tournament? Like I know Booker debuts
Like
that night, but wouldn't this be a better use
Storm.
of DDP than the stupid Undertaker stalker shit? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Storm. I think Storm could have been a great one. Like, I mean, he was looked at as
Yeah.
a workhorse. He had all the titles in WCW. Like,
Storm. At this point, I still think that they think DDT. They're doing DDP right by sticking them with the Undertaker.
right. So I think I don't want to take away the Booker debut. I think that was really good. So
Yeah, Storm would have been fun.
yeah, I think
And
Storm Edge finals.
and Storm is a guy that needs flavor, and King of the
Right.
Ring is flavor. You know,
Yeah. Canadian King.
I'd still go B. I think it's the same sentiment as Shamrock.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. So we got one more in the original lineage, and that is 2002. That's Brock Lesnar.
And this is for a title shot.
Yeah, this is the only one that's for a title shot in the original run. So we have. This is when they started breaking up the Raw and SmackDown brackets, but it's Brock, Bubba Ray Dudley, Booker T, William Regal, Holly, Tajiri, Hurricane, Test, Chris Jericho, Edge, Christian, Val Venus, X-Pac, Goldust, Guerrero, and RVD.
Goldust would have been a fun one in like 95.
Right. Not
In
quite there yet.
retrospect, 96 even. But anyways, so
I
now it's
think
02. It's
I think
Brock.
Brock's the choice. There's no way around it. I think the
He
only
has
other
the
guy that
title.
could have been cool was like Eddie, because he had just come back and had that dominant performance
Yeah,
against RVD.
he's got the IC champ. He's got the IC feud with RVD going on there,
Yeah.
so it would have worked too.
Yeah. And RVD is another one you could have maybe kind
Yeah,
of
he
got
was
him
in the
back on
finals.
track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brock though is an S tier, obviously. I mean, he ends up becoming the youngest
Together.
world champion off of it.
2
Gets the
months
title
later,
shot.
he's beating the
Yeah.
Brock. Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the original run. I'm just going to remind you quickly to check out everything here, like we said, NorthSouthConnection.com. Every other Monday, we have Wrestling Warzone, myself and Chad Campbell, going through the Monday Night Wars. We do the weekly TV, the pay-per-views. We're at the end of 1996, right around Starrcade, so we're really digging into Hogan Piper. WWF's about to finally shake things up into 97. We've been dying for it. So again, check that out every other Monday here on the North-South Connection. All right, so let's jump ahead to 2015, I believe is our. Oh no, hang on.
No, Regal.
2006, actually. King
Oh,
Booker.
Booker.
Yes.
That's ooh.
8-man tournament. We got Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, Matt Hardy, Booker T, Chris Benoit, Finley, Bobby Lashley, who makes the finals, and Mark Henry. It's hard to argue. King Booker revitalized the dude's career. He was
He was
spiraling
world
quick,
champ right after it too.
made him a super hot over character. I think the only guy you could look at, I think Lashley could have been cool, but I think you worry he ends up in the Edge Shamrock bucket where he just kind of wins it and moves along.
Mm-hmm. He's not as good enough as Kurt to be a tier. That's Lashley. You know what I mean? He's definitely
Right.
like the Edge and Shamrock type.
Yeah.
But
Benoit,
Booker's
maybe?
who?
Benoit, like kind of reestablished as a.
If
He's
you
about to
want to
take
go
his
with
break,
Matt
though.
Hardy, kind of, but he doesn't.
In 06,
Nice.
yeah. I mean, they were still kind of punishing him a bit after the Edge stuff.
I don't know. This is a good one. I would say A or A. Could make a case for an S too, just based off the character work and the memory.
I think he's an A because it. I mean,
A, at the
I don't
very
know.
low A. At the
Let's
very
put him there
low
for now. But it's a potential S
He's a
because it's
better
such a.
King than Brock, but Brock's obviously more impactful.
Well, again, we're looking at S as like a launching point, right?
Yes, yeah.
Um,
This wasn't a launching point. It was like it's the same vial as like
well,
Triple
you could
H and
argue it's
Kurt.
maybe more here with a Harley, like as a,
Yeah, but he was still won the world.
but he
Those
was
guys
so
didn't win the
good
world
that yeah,
champions.
it
Yeah,
bumps up. Yeah, okay, I like it as an A. I think it's good
yeah.
in there.
I think. Oh, it's definitely that. I think.
A is like to me. So if S is the launching point, A is a guy that it was the best choice at the time and also really benefited from getting it right. Like he's like they all benefited from winning that tournament. B feels to me like kind of strong choice but doesn't go anywhere. C is like they tried,
Yeah,
and D is like whatever, anyone could have won, it wouldn't have mattered. That's kind of where it's at.
but it should have helped this next guy, Justin. Oof, should
Big
have
time. 2008, William Regal wins. We had
with
Chris
Layla. Oof.
Jericho, MVP, CM Punk, Matt Hardy, Great Khali, Finley, Regal, and Hornswoggle. Uh, Regal beats Punk in the finals. I mean, everyone I think at the time thought Punk was winning for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but Regal is the king, running Raw,
Oh,
turning the lights off, pissing everyone off. This was his reboot everyone had been waiting for.
he had a real
And then he
shot.
gets popped for the drug stuff, which
He had
sucks.
a
It just
real
completely
good
derailed
shot of finally
making
living
it.
up to his hype.
Mhm. So
Yep,
I think it's like a I think it's
at
a
least a
C.
B.
No, I
You
think
think
it's
it's
with Billy and Mabel. Like I think it's they
yeah,
had it. It
okay,
really
I
gave
get
him a chance,
it's
and they kind of sucked. They blew it. Like
It's Mabel, you're right, it's Mabel where it's memorable because it should have and could have worked, but
yeah,
it was only, what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks tops?
and you could argue it was the right better choice than these guys at least. So I mean, if you wanted to put them at the end of B because you want to say they at least made the right choice, whereas
Yeah,
we argue kind of these guys were like, you could probably pick the better here, maybe. I don't know.
he was the right choice. It this
Yeah,
is he's a C because he's like a C student here because
right.
he should be a B student, but he fucking didn't put in the effort.
Okay, well, let's do these last few, and then we'll kind of rank them in the tiers. Um,
Oh, Sheamus.
yeah, 2010 is Sheamus. So this is a big one. There's a lot of guys on this one. Sheamus, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, Drew McIntyre, MVP, Ezekiel Jackson, Alex Riley, John Morrison, Tyson Kidd, Cody Rhodes, Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio, Big Show, Daniel Bryan, and DiBiase. And Sheamus beats John Morrison in the finals.
They should have went with DiBiase so he could just like his father.
And this was
Uh,
November of 2010.
Sheamus is, it's definitely like one of those things that they put on the side of his entrances. It's like he's a King of the Ring winner, Money in the Bank
Mhm.
holder. It's like one of those things, but King of the Ring is definitely the least memorable.
When does he win the
Um,
title? Is it right after this? The end of
no,
10, right? No.
no, he wins it in the middle of 10. So
Oh, so he had
again,
already been champion.
this is kind of like coming off of the title.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind
Yeah.
of like a real weak man's Brett Oath 93.
All right. I mean, looking at it, like I think Brian could have really used it probably.
Yeah, Brian could even Morrison, who could have.
Morrison is just starting his big push into 11, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
but
that's like his
what
peak?
could have, well, should have been, but he was out of the company.
Fuse of Miz,
I don't know.
McIntyre.
Yeah, McIntyre would have been pretty good, but I would probably go. But Sheamus should have been the right pick, but I feel like that they didn't really go with it. Justin, I hate to
Mm.
bring this up, but do you this is the Monday Night Football. You had a happy ending on this one. This is the Monday Night Football where the Patriots actually smacked the Jets.
I
Was
was at
this
that
one?
game.
Yeah, this was the Monday Night Football.
That was the penance we had to suffer through to get to the AFC chip playoff game where the Jets won at least.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because he wasn't even king by then. They pretty much just dropped this right away.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
he's in the C. It feels like a misstart, like probably right,
Yeah,
like a Regal, probably right
he's a
choice, but
Regal.
a bit of a
Not,
whiff.
not as high as a Regal though. Not
Yeah.
he's not as cool as a king as a
I'm
Regal.
moving
But
Morocco down here. I think these guys just that tournament didn't mean much,
yeah,
and it didn't
I
really
know
do anything for them.
your OCD needs to all be equal. I get it. I
No,
get
we're
it.
not gonna have it anyway. But I'm looking at these guys. Like I think we're starting to figure things out. And to me, like well, I guess you could argue
Morocco
Morocco
might be
could have
better
used
than
it.
King. Billy.
Yeah.
Morocco's better
All
than Billy,
right.
unfortunately.
All right. So next up we got Wade Barrett. That was in 2015.
Again,
Um,
they who did he lose? He beat Neville.
yeah, it's only 8 guys. It's Ziggler, Barrett, R-Truth, Stardust, Dean Ambrose, Sheamus, Neville, and Harper.
Honestly, Stardust would have been kind of cool.
Mhm. Well, there's
All
probably
right,
other
so
guys
this is
around too in 20. I mean, I'm just not. off the top of my head is easy to jump into my brain of 2015, but I mean, there had to be other options probably.
Well,
Orton, I think Orton could have been a fun one.
the thing that sucks about this one is this they took the bad news gimmick off of him and gave him this.
Right.
And then he's still king at like WrestleMania 32 when he's in the League of Nations.
Yeah, he
So
has
it's like
you could argue he's got a good run with it. Like, and
he
he
just didn't do anything
also
with it.
no, right, but at least keeps the gimmick. He like him as like an English thing, like kind of brings back what maybe Regal could have been with it. You know, like a little bit of a
Yeah, I
run.
think it's still think it's a C. Yeah. I don't think he has the I don't think he has the substance to go with it to make it a B.
You think he's the right choice though at that time?
If we're look at it from there,
Or was he
uh,
kind of washed?
in retrospect, he was watched. You know, his moment was the Nexus, and then he had vibrance again with the bad news. But I'm not sure if he was actually really healthy to go with him when he was bad news Barrett.
Right. Or King
Um,
Barrett, he was kind of cooked at the end there. He was kind of the ancillary piece of it. I mean, he didn't even with the League of Nations, wasn't he kind of more on the outside a lot of
yeah,
times? Like
he's
they
kind
do a
of the
lot of six
manager.
men.
Yeah. I don't know.
I hate to say it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's fine for now.
All right. The last one's Baron Corbin that we're doing. I
He
mean,
got a lot of he got a lot of longevity out of it, but
yeah.
who did he beat? Gable?
So it's Cesaro, Samoa Joe. I'm already putting him at an F. Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Cedric Alexander, Sami Zayn, The Miz, Corbin, Owens, Elias, Mustafa Ali, Buddy Murphy, Gable, Benjamin, Apollo Crews, and Andrade. I mean, he's an F. Like, there's at least 8 guys on that list I could have picked over him at this point.
It's like they brought it back just to give him something to do because he's the constable, he's barren, he's lonely, he just stinks.
I mean, like Cesaro would have been cool, and
Cesaro's
like
been great.
Samoa Joe like could have been cool in that badass like Shamrock type role. Ricochet, McIntyre could have used it for sure.
Mhm. Even
Owens
Ali or
could have made it
whatever.
fun. Ali, Andrade could have made it like really fun too.
Shorty G? Shorty
Shorty
G the
G.
king?
I think he's our worst. I think he's our worst.
He did
I think Barrett's the top of the D's, unless you want to move him to C.
No, he's fine. Yeah. Well, who are we switching?
Oh,
Are we
he's kind of
moving
similar to
anyone?
Sheamus, really. Like, he's a little better than Sheamus, I think, honestly.
Yeah, he's got more juice than Sheamus. But here's the thing: if you do, we want to move someone to B and then move Barrett to C?
I don't know.
Regal, and Mo or not Mo? Mabel.
Well, maybe
um,
let's start at the top and go that way because I think the top is a little more defined. Like, who's Austin's our best, right? I mean, he's the best choice they ever made
oh,
when
it
they
might
came in the
be
ring.
yeah, but it might be Brett. He solidifies the pay per view, which solidifies it.
Yeah, I know, but Austin, I mean, launches like the biggest star in wrestling history.
I know.
Without Austin 316, it may not take off as quickly as it did. Honestly, you know what I mean? Like that
I
is a
know.
huge moment. He doesn't do that without beating Jake and doing the John 316 on the podium.
You could say that if Brett doesn't win it and solidify it in '93, that
All right,
these
say
next
Bigelow wins that tournament. You don't think they just stick with it? Bigelow beats Brett because King interferes. I mean, it's probably the same.
Yeah, mm.
Or Luger,
It's
Narcissist
memorable.
wins it.
Brett '93 is memorable,
The
but
Narcissist
he's
King.
he's 2. I agree. Brett Stone Cold's 1. I fold. It's hard. He went on a fucking 5-year run of being the best fucking wrestler of
Right.
all time.
I think I'd then go Brock 3, only because it would have catapulted him to directly.
Yeah.
And then Owen. Owen's probably the least overall successful, but is probably the most memorable
But he's
above
the
everyone
best
else.
in gimmick.
Yes. Um,
I'll go Hunter first here.
yeah,
Or
I think
Booker.
Hunter.
Or
I think
Booker.
Brett's at the back.
Yes. He's hanging on.
Because he didn't have to win that. I mean, he
Yeah.
would have been fine.
So, but do we say Booker just based he became world champion right after and he was the best actual king? Do you think he's above
Yeah,
Hunter
but
or
choice
Hunter?
wise, again, I think if you give it to Lashley or Orton, you lose King Booker, but the promotion doesn't change. I think Hunter winning here and Angle winning to me directly impacts the future of the
Yeah,
promotion, you
he
know?
becomes DX right away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
And the Foley
Yeah.
feud comes off of
But
that.
here's the thing, Angle would have made it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that too.
I'd go Booker over Angle.
And then Brett.
Yeah,
So
Booker.
Hunter,
Yeah,
Booker, Angle,
yes.
Brett. Okay.
Yes. I think
It's,
Harley's top tier here.
Savage feels.
Oh,
This is
Savage.
well. This is tough because this is where we're stuck in the. We're going with choice, right? But
Yeah.
again, in '80, that one when he wins, like anyone could have won. They don't reference it, but like that's like the launching point of the Mega Power. So if you're in that local arena in Providence and he wins, like it feels like, oh my god, I saw him win the King of the Ring, and now he's like teaming with Hogan. You know?
Here's the thing: we're not wearing Harley Race shirts right here. We're wearing Macho Man shirts.
Yeah. So you
But
think
Harley's great.
Savage,
Harley's great
Savage,
too.
Harley, Shamrock Edge? I feel right.
That's fine. Shamrock Edge, it don't matter. Regal should be Regal versus Mabel as a second evidence. What do you think? They're both kind of like top tier C's, I think.
I think Mabel kind of got more out of it.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. It
You
should
think
be
King
Regal,
Mabel
but
before you think King Regal. You think Commissioner Regal. You know, you think Stephen Lord Regal, right? Before King Regal.
yeah, put Morocco in front of fucking Billy just because he's the first one. Who should we put Barrett up?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you looked at that field. I mean, who else in 2010, I guess, really? We talked about Brian, maybe.
Yeah, they had good intentions with him.
So you think him before or after Billy?
He was the king for a while. Billy was dead right away, but Billy
Yeah,
was
Billy was a good choice. But then again, we talked about it. Like X-Pac could have been a good choice. China could have been a good choice. I think Billy just, they didn't end up
Billy
following through with the
felt so
push.
forced though.
Yeah. Him and Mabel feel real similar. It's like real similar.
Mhm. Yeah, but at least Mabel's memorable, like we said. I'm
Mm.
good with this.
You think Morocco stays at C?
If you want to move, I like Morocco. I think you should save. He's the first one.
Yeah.
He's or the top of the D, which and we're here. We are. It doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah, let's leave him there. We'll do Sheamus D, top D.
Yeah, Tito, respect. I don't know. Should we
DiBiase is kind
put
of whatever.
$1 million man below Corbin or
No, Corbin's last. There was like Corbin was the guy that had the most other choices
yes?
that could
From
have
that
won.
aspect, yeah.
Yeah. So
I know. It's just he was the king forever, and
yeah,
he
I don't care.
sucks. Fuck him.
All right, so that's our final list, man. That was a quick 45. It was fun. Share your thoughts. What did we mess up? If you look at it just from choice, what if you were to redo it? You know, maybe we do this, Ryan, at some point. Maybe we redo it based on success. You know, purely on success. I think we kind of baked it in a little bit here, but I think this would change a little bit. So maybe there's other ways to look at it too. But share your thoughts for sure. Take a look at it. Let us know where we screwed up. Subscribe, hit the like button, share us around. We appreciate it. We're all over social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Join in the conversation. Subscribe today. Keep on ticking. Talk to you later.
Later.